Kanye's king. Long live the king. So, it's probably obvious that I'm talking about Kanye West. Oh, Kanye's gone and found Jesus. Kanye's found religion. What else is going on in the wacky world of Kanye? But hear me out. I actually believe that Kanye West is a born-again Christian. Oh yeah, but what about his other fads and things he drops in and out of? What about his controversial views about POTUS? What about him wearing a MAGA hat? What about him saying that slavery is a choice? Well, let's unpack that. We'll get into it. But first and foremost, I want to say I absolutely believe that Kanye West believes that Jesus is king. I believe he's embraced him. I believe he's become a committed Christian. All good in my hood. I think Kanye West is an amazing artist. Controversial figure? Yeah. But you know what? Most great people, most interesting people that stand out are not wallpaper. They're not vanilla. They're a little bit of this and that. I was tempted not to do a video about Kanye West because there's a gazillion of them. I'm sure this one is going to be lost in the shuffle. I want to put my flag in the ground and let it be known that I'm 100% in support of Kanye West and his newfound faith in Jesus. I'm not going to be a hater, and neither am I going to be someone who crowns him and heralds him as the next best thing in the Christian faith. I'm just going to be praying for a brother who finds the love, peace and joy that can be found in accepting Jesus as king. Who knew? Though I was reluctant to do a video about Kanye West, I did feel that my job here on Popbox, which is my virtual soapbox, is to talk about all things popular culture, what's in the zeitgeist, what's going on. So it'd be a little bit weird where Kanye West, a huge pop cultural figure, and Christianity, my whole bread and butter, converging together if I didn't talk about it, right? So how do I find a fresh angle in this YouTube real estate talking about Kanye West? Well, it's not going to be original. Like I said, I believe Kanye's made a genuine commitment to Christ and I'm happy for him, and I'm going to be praying for him that it continues and he can have a fruitful life as a follower of Jesus. What I am going to say is I don't understand why there are those in the Christian camp, you know who you are, who are almost gleefully gunning for Kanye to fall off the wagon and say, you know what, it was a mistake, I'm no longer Team Jesus, I'm going to go back to rapping about Hennessy, garments and swearing, all that stuff. It's almost like they're the brother, the big brother in the prodigal son story. Now, if you've never heard of the story of the prodigal son, where you been? It's an old story. For those who aren't in the know, it's about a wealthy father who had two sons. The younger son said, Dad, you know what? I don't want to wait for you to die. Can you just give me my money, my inheritance right now, so I can go on an epic bender, spend it and enjoy my life? And the dad's like going, well, that's a little bit harsh, but here you go, son. Let me give you your share of your inheritance. So off he went, partying, probably went to Vegas, fast living, raving, everything, spent all his money, found himself living in pigs down in the ditch. And he was like, suddenly, there's no place like home, wanting to click his heels like Dorothy and return back to Kansas. So off he went back to the house, and he's thinking, it's a bit touchy, a bit touch and go. What's my dad going to think? Is he going to, will he let me back in the house, or have I crossed the line? But to everyone's surprise, to his surprise and the people who heard the story, Jesus' first audience, the father ran to the door, threw a robe on him and said, let's have a party, my son's home. Everyone was happy, right? No, the big brother was like, I didn't go nowhere. Where's my party at? I didn't leave, I stayed here. And I'm like invisible, hello. And essentially, in many ways, many quarters of the church are like that big brother. Rather than celebrating that Brother West has found faith and come and joined the club, they're scorning, thinking, I've been toiling away at this gospel music for years. I've been preaching to 10 people. I've been preaching to the highways and byways. Kanye West drops one album and everyone's talking about Jesus is king. And everyone loses their minds. And I'm like, get over yourself, man. Jesus came for people such as West. Those who some people might think have gone a little bit cray-cray, a little bit extreme, and are controversial figures. Do you remember Zacchaeus, the tax collector? Remember Paul, the apostle? Jesus loves interesting characters, and he loves bringing them home to the fold and giving them a new sense of lease of life and purpose. So what's your problem? But of course, you're always going to get Pharisees. I just don't understand why there are people who are waiting for Kanye to screw up, hovering on every word, ready to pounce to say, see, I told you he wasn't genuine. And you've got those who aren't Christians who are saying, shut up about the Jesus talk already. Who, atheists who just don't want to know God. You've got those who are like, hey, the beat is good. If he's found Jesus, it's not my cup of tea, but good for him. But then those who are like, hey, I knew that Christians are right-wingers. They're lovers of the president. They're lovers of Trump. They're MAGA hat-wearing crazies. And of course for them, this just confounds and conflates the reservations they have with Brother West. I mean, has he said controversial things in the past? Yeah. Has he done controversial things in the past? Well, everyone has a history. Yeah, Kanye has done some crazy things in the past. I'm sure Taylor Swift still has her memories. But you know what? People were cool with Kanye, like he said in his own words in interviews, when he was promoting alcohol, when he was promoting loose living and designer garments. And there's even a line in American Boy, the song with Estelle, where he talks about things that all the wags want to hear it. He knows people lapped up every word that he spat when he was talking about the lifestyle of the world, the glamour, the glitz, the hard partying. But now he's talking about Jesus, the God-man, the carpenter, who was nailed on a cross. Suddenly now he's gone too far. He's either going to be deified with supernatural pressure put on his shoulders. Those Christians who are excited about West's conversion and see him almost like the second coming of this prophetic musical herald ushering in a new era of modern Christianity. Also got those, like I mentioned before, who can't wait for him to fall off the wagon so he can go back to, his other career and stop talking about Jesus and embarrassing them because he doesn't look like the usual suspect that they'd see on a Sunday morning in church. For me, I think we should neither deify or crucify Brother West. Deify in terms of those, especially the positive end of the Christian camp, who hail him as a prophet, a musical prophet, coming to usher in a new generation, a modern era of Christian faith in popular culture. But then you've got the haters, those who want to crucify him for being either not Christian enough and not really the poster child of the Christian faith, certainly in the more conservative circles, or those who are anti-Christian and anti-Republican, who see it as another nail in the coffin of burying West and saying, you know what, we're done with him. Kanye West is officially double cancelled. For me, it's neither one or the other. My heart is to pray for Kanye, and I think that should be your heart too. Whether you believe in God or not, wish him the best. Rejoice that he's found peace, love, solace, joy in his relationship with Jesus. So much so that he's released a fantastic album, Jesus is King, to just celebrate that. The truth of the matter is, Jesus was king long before Kanye dropped an album and found newfound faith. And he will be king long after Kanye's here and gone. Long after we're all gone, to be honest. And the great thing about Kanye publicly airing his faith is the fact that we all get the chance to discover how awesome a King Jesus really is. And hopefully, with his influence, many people can discover. I've heard so far people picking up Bibles, people finding out about Jesus, people attending church. I mean, Brad Pitt became an atheist after growing up in church, and then he was at one of Kanye West's Sunday gatherings, and he's exploring the faith again. What's interesting is that Kanye West has long been a controversial figure. He's always been someone who spoke his own mind. I mean, if he believes that you didn't deserve the Grammy or VH1 or whatever the music plonde it was, and his friend did, he'll come on stage and he'll tell you so, right to your face. That's our Kanye. If he believes you're a president who doesn't care about the melanated citizens of their country, he'll tell you so. Remember, President Bush don't give a beep about black people? Brother Kanye's always been very outspoken, very passionate about his beliefs and convictions. So why are we surprised that he's found Jesus, that he's doing the same thing? Would we rather him be quiet, sit quiet, just attend church and not say anything? Are we uncomfortable that someone with the prolific profile as Kanye West, someone who epitomized the height of success, the music industry, its glitz and glamour, and sometimes its conscious lyrics, and its movement for young black millennials. Are we troubled that he's found this ancient faith with the God-man carpenter's son that some people think is passé and old hat? One of the issues amongst young black folk, particularly with Kanye becoming a Christian, is that they associate Christianity not just with conservative republicanism, political right-wingers in America, but also white supremacy. Christianity is a white man's religion. If Kanye had found Islam, he may have ruffled some feathers in different ways. There would have been a significant support of the black population, especially in the woke times that we're in right now. But the reality is Kanye has not really been a follower. And the fact that many young blacks have left Christianity, left the faith, seeing it as not their religion, doesn't represent them, is an unfortunate thing. Hopefully, Kanye West can speak into the mass exodus of young black millennials leaving the black and mainline churches for other religions and alternative belief systems. A strong figure in the black community like Kanye West could do wonders in creating a conversation and dialogue about those black exiles and theology and bringing them back into the fold. Yes, I know he said things like on TMZ like that slavery was a choice. I actually think he was misunderstood. I think he was saying that it's a modern type of slavery where black people in America are born Democrats and they die Democrats, never questioning the politics of that group and where there may be other options. I think, what's wrong with saying there are other options, folks? Now, I don't want to really get into politics in this video, but I think if Kanye had different political views, maybe people would find it easier to reconcile his religious views, because he's done the unthinkable thing as a black American man, and that's to leave the Democratic Party, to speak against it and show some kind of affinity to the Republicans and, dare I say, President Trump. Further insult to injury, he's now become a Christian, so for many people he's officially double cancelled. God loves using characters to spread his word, especially those who don't qualify on the outside. He loves a comeback. He loves to change people's lives and to use the very people you least expect to represent him, to show that he really can change people's lives. And you're probably wondering as well why I called the video Kanye's King. Bit of a play on words. I know it's not referring to Kanye King, the British head of the MOBO Music of Black Origins Awards. Love you, Kanye. But no, Kanye's King is a double play there, where it's both the King Jesus that he talks about in his album Jesus King and his newfound faith, and also that Kanye in a way is a king. Because when the Bible says that we are royalty as his children, so in a way when we submit ourselves to the lordship of Jesus and we hail him as king, he gives us a crown and puts it back on our head and says, you're king and queens in my newfound family, in my kingdom with a small k. Not a kingship like the world knows, where you rule over people with an iron fist, sit back and get someone to scratch your back and bring you your slippers. But a royalty where you know who you are, you know your roots, you're centered, and you walk around like a king and a queen, like a boss. Now, you might be thinking Kanye doesn't need any more, self-esteem. He's one of the most confident people on the planet. That may be true, but I think hopefully Kanye receiving Jesus as king and becoming a king in his own right ushers in a new era of positivity, where he uses his newfound faith, his newfound power to influence the world for good, to shed light on persecution of Christians around the world who are getting killed just for saying Jesus is king. Not everyone has the luxury to release albums with that proclamation. There are people going to their early graves saying those same words, Jesus is king. Now, I know that Kanye West is very much passionate about Jesus and his newfound faith, so I know he's going to support those unsung voices. He's going to champion those who are really getting persecuted. And you know what? He's got broad shoulders. I'm sure he can take the sniggers, the laughter, and the trouble that's coming his way for daring to proclaim with his mouth the inconvenient, politically incorrect statement. Kanye, if you're watching, we are for you here at Tribe Redeem. I'm 100% in your corner. I'm praying for you, brother. I believe in your success. I'm grateful for your new album. It is amazing. And I'm glad that you are loud and proud about your newfound king. And I want to say, sir, that you are a king. You may have been a king on the earth in terms of the industry and all those things, but you now have a new crown, I believe, as a king of influence, of a kingdom that is famous for having many kings and queens who have been martyred all over the world, killed for loving, killed for their religious freedoms, and killed for just simply saying Jesus is king. I know you'll join me in praying for them, in influencing them, for being a light, for being an encouragement, for creating beautiful art and music that gives them solace in their darkest days. I'm talking to my fellow brothers and sisters now. If you're a Christian and you feel an ouch in your heart, in your spirit, ouch, because Kanye proclaims he's able to talk to millions of people about Jesus, and what, you're secretly envious? You release music that didn't get 10% of that listeners, and you've been toiling for years in the garden? Or you're someone who's been preaching in a pulpit and you don't get that sort of attention? Or you just feel he's not good enough, he's not wearing the right type of suit, he's not perfect, he drops the occasional F-bomb accidentally, he's not all the way clean, then I want to challenge you to say, blood will be on your hands if Kanye feels the heat of persecution and rejection from his own brothers and sisters and decides the heat is too much, I'm going to get out of the kitchen. Shame on you, blood will be on your hands. If rather than putting your hands in prayer for your newfound brother, you put your hand in judgment and condemnation, cursing what God calls clean. Now I want to believe the best, and I know that you are joining me in prayer. I'm not expecting him to be the next Billy Graham. I'm not believing that he is the new herald of good news in this modern age alone. There are others rising, but I believe he is one son with a big mouth who loves Jesus, and that's fine with me. I want to get behind him, and I pray that you do too. Jesus is king. Kanye, you couldn't have said it any better. Now, I don't know what you think about what I talked about. Maybe you think it's a ramble. I am all the way biased. I am a Christian, so obviously I do have a horse in this race. But whatever your opinions, please write them on the comment section below. Let me know what you think. Maybe you're thinking I'm a Bible basher dressed in cultish white, like I'm going to Sunday gathering too. What do I know what I'm talking about? Or maybe you agree with me and you think, yeah, let's give it for Kanye. Let's go. Whatever your opinion, write and comment below, and please subscribe, click the bell for more videos like this. I'm Anthony Arasasula and you're watching Popbox. See you soon.